I was mad.
Hey, listen, I just want to call out one person.
And I hate myself a lot.
But you're getting punched in the dick. There needs to be more Street Shark references. I say who? That's funny as hell.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Underqualified and Overcompensated Podcast. I am your host with the least most, and I'm creeping on you. I'm Rhodes. We'll get into that in a minute, but to my left, your right, as always, as we've established, the very warm, the very loving, always there, Rico.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Rico. How you doing? Doing good? Hey, how's your mother?
Below me,
tell us hello.
Below me, the power bottom and frat version of Steve Irwin, Tyler Firth. If Steve-O mouth fucked Steve Irwin, you get Tyler Firth in his current outfit.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. He got what was coming to him. All right?
Very controversial hot topic.
Also, the accent that Rico just did was upsetting.
Yet also spot on.
But just like, hello, here's Rico. And he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm up here in my corner.
I'm over here.
Hey,
I'm podcasting here.
Hey, I'm just up here doing my stuff. I put a hat on. There's a microphone in front of me. I decided to speak.
Hey, I just showed up. All this stuff was here. I figured I might as well do a podcast.
I was like, hey, here's two white boys, and I'm gonna talk to them on the internets.
Hey, Ma.
Yeah. Hey, keep it down back there. I'm doing the podcasting thing. There's white people, and they want to hear me speak.
I said sausage.
Oh, boys, I love you. I miss you guys every week. I miss you.
Yeah.
I miss seeing your beautiful fucking faces every goddamn week. I really do.
Wow.
You see it every week.
Yeah.
I mean every week, showing up in the morning, seeing your beautiful smile.
Okay.
Being able to walk by Tyler every day while he's in the truck, flip him off. I miss the traditions that
Roger.
Yeah, that shit I don't fucking.
I cannot get over Rico's Italian accent. It is going to haunt me into my dreams tonight.
As it should.
Is it cultural appropriation?
No, that to me
from the Bronx.
It didn't read Italian to me. That read New York.
Oh, that read okay. It's the same thing.
That's actually racist that you thought it was Italian and Rico was
you're right. No. I'm the bad guy here.
Well, yeah.
Voices don't have skin color.
Yes, they do.
All the Italians are R.I.P. Meatloaf. That was my name before I changed it. Thank you, bitch.
My method. Go for it.
I just love the idea of some Italian guy just being like, you know what? This guy up in the right corner, he represents us.
I
don't know what that meant.
According to my brother, he thinks we got some Italian with him, so I guess I'm not culturally appropriated.
That's fine. It's fine. I don't give a shit. There is such thing as cultural appropriation, so I shouldn't say it.
That's definitely...
There is, but everybody needs to relax about it because everybody's just like, that's cultural appropriation. And you're like, I sneezed, and you're like, you're taking away from the COVID vaccinators.
3 white guys can own a taco truck. Yes, they can.
Yes, they absolutely can.
Because guess what? They're not even making Mexican tacos.
Is when people get canceled on Halloween for wearing a costume. I mean, it's fucking Halloween.
How dare you? How dare you appropriate the zombie community?
Yeah. What are you, dressed as a samurai? Are you Japanese?
No, I'm a
zombie.
Karen, are you a cunt? Because that's what you're fucking dressed up as.
Sean Katana would be so upset. Sean, that obvious Japanese name, would be very upset that you're appropriating his Japanese heritage.
Owned the very obvious Japanese man.
Yeah.
Is Sean spelled with 4 Rakasans? Because then maybe.
The only Japanese kanji-looking symbol that Rico knows.
I had to think of something.
I like it. No. I'm here for it. I love it. This is why I showed up tonight.
It's just 4 Rakasans. How do you pronounce that? Sean.
Sean is silent.
But the cunt is very clear.
Very vocal.
Actually, I think the way you pronounce 4 Rakasans side by side is Kaka!
Is it Rakasan or Rakasai? Rakasan?
No,
multiple Rakasans?
Rakasai is too racist. Now you're really appropriating the culture.
It was a question. It wasn't.
I don't know. I'm not a douchebag. Let me call up my douchebag Rakasan friends and be like, "Excuse me, is Rakasai racist?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, you can't say that. None of us can say that." Do
you know how you find out if somebody's ever been in the unit that has a Rakasan? They'll tell you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Being a Rakasan is like doing CrossFit.
Oh my god.
It's vegan, fucking CrossFit, pescatarian, and this
Gluten.
is my army unit.
Hey man.
Rakasans.
I'm glad you're here. Where'd you come from? I was with the Rakasans. Fuck!
Rakasans and scouts. Now, if you get a scout Rakasan, they'll never. You'll always know.
COVID isn't real. It's not real.
Well,
just in from Twitch.
That if it's on Twitch, it's
show's over.
Real.
That was the whole.
Right.
Thanks, future Omi. That was the whole topic of the show.
Now, what are we going to talk about now?
Got nothing.
Well, I guess we can throw a picture of my dick up. Let's just talk about that.
Should we just throw up the link to OnlyFans?
We have nothing left.
Butts.
But not because we're not in the physical location. It's actually just us in these 3 individual cubicles.
Just trying to get butts as close to each other.
Which is so complicated because it's mirrored. So if I wanted to poke my butt to I have to raise the up to here. Like it's very complicated.
Why is your butt inverted? Change the controls. Press start.
What? F7.
Ferk doesn't even know what that does.
All right, you guys ready? 2 minutes of shitting on roads.
Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen,
it's my favorite time of the show.
Shitting on me. I'll go first. I put on these glasses and I immediately thought that I was going to trigger some like young female into thinking that I was that high school teacher that was definitely looking down her blouse during the quiz.
You don't know the proper etiquette for a roast. You go last. We talk shit, then you go last.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't good at it anyway.
Yourself.
Please. I'm not going to defend myself. I'm a fucking weirdo. Roast me. Go.
Tyler,
Rico?
Yeah.
You first? Me?
Okay. I've seen some pretty good things in the if you'll go to the underqualified and overcompensated page on Facebook, you'll see a roast me picture that is courtesy of Cody's wife. He looks like the fucking dude from Turtle. What the fuck movie was that?
The Master of Disguise with
the
Dana
Master
Carvey?
of Disguise.
I like it.
Also not wrong.
Is it my turn?
Yeah,
it's your turn. We'll go one for one.
All right, Rhodes. So I was watching NBC the other day, and To Catch a Predator came up, and Chris Hansen sat a young gentleman down, and I thought it was just you.
I got on TV, Mom. Hi.
I made it.
How was Chris Hansen in real life?
Oh, I think he's in jail, isn't he?
I think he caught the predator, and it was himself. But before that,
they pulled off the fucking Scooby mask, and it was Chris Hansen the whole
Chris
time.
Hansen? Oh
Allegedly.
But also, Rhodes.
Oh, I mean, I was just bringing pizza and beer, and
why are you bringing beer?
And a lot of condoms. I mean, you do what you do, and they do what they do, and we were trying to do what we do.
Well, that's a lot of doing, and what it sounds like to me is Your Honor, I'm guilty. Please put me away forever.
Just
no, Mr. Hansen, I know how to fix this entire situation. I apologize.
Right. Sure.
Oh, okay.
Hey, why don't you have a seat? Why don't you have a seat? What are you doing here?
Wouldn't that be weird? Like if it was like your house, like if the dad came home instead, like if the dad was like, "Sir, what are you doing here? I live here. Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah. Why are you in my fucking house? Aren't you Chris Hansen?
Take a seat, sir. No, you take a fucking seat.
No, I was just about to bone your 14-year-old daughter. All right.
Release the hounds.
Oh, good. There's a child in the studio.
Yeah, you know,
Fantastic.
the level of professionalism that we go, baby.
Perfect timing. I
was gonna say that Ramball when he took the glasses off, it was a Clark Kent moment. I was like, "Oh shit, Finkel is Einhorn and Einhorn is Finkel."
Your gun is digging into my hip. Hey, Cody.
Yeah.
We were just making child molestation jokes, and now is not the time to bring your child onto that program. Just throwing that out there.
This isn't my child.
Oh my god. No. No.
Hi, I'd like to welcome you all to the Patrick Hewlett podcast.
Oh my god.
I just want to call out one person.
We're in the chat, Austin. Why the fuck are there cops in my garage?
Because you're watching this show! Turn it off! Don't turn it off, but turn it off!
Subscribe.
Share, like, subscribe, and then the FBI won't watch you anymore.
All right, 2 minutes is up. That's the end of the fucking thing. We went too far anyway.
That's all right.
Bro.
Well, so with that, this is now Firth's show.
It is.
Firth has a topic that I don't really know a lot about, and I don't want to really head this up. I want him to do it. So
Roger.
I relinquish the power that is the upper left-hand corner.
It's true. Oh, it feels good. Oh, it's so nice up here.
Yeah. It feels good? You feel like a speaker of the house of some sort? Like you're going to impress some people? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I want to have opinions about trading stock and then change that opinion when the viewing audience does not agree with it. That's crazy.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to placate to a lot of minorities right now.
Hey, so here's the thing. And this is what I let these guys know earlier, is this is going to be, if I named this podcast, it would be another political episode. Because that's what it's going to be. I know I'm going to try to keep myself in check, and I'm going to try to keep these guys in check of being kind of central, right?
Sure.
Everybody knows my political views. I have but I've also
if you're new to the show, however, how would you describe your political views?
Right.
No, I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's on first?
Purple.
Right. RIGHT.
Awesome. Your pretty fucking mouth. I will.
For those on the audio side, Austin Bish says Rhodes does seem like a bottom. And that's actual factual.
It's accurate.
Factual information.
It's accurate.
I am actually
Don't
more of a top.
Yourself.
I'm actually more of a top, but I am I'm very talented at being a bottom. I know what I'm doing. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. So back to Tyler Firth.
Unlike Tyler Firth, who just lays there and kind of starfishes it.
They call me Patrick in bed. All right. Anywho, I would like. So yes. So I have ideas that I wanted to talk about on this show.
Okay.
Right. And I wanted to stay. I want to keep myself central. And if I'm skewing too far to my side, which again, like I've said, I'm a right winger. Right. I've never been afraid or been like, oh, this isn't me. Even when we were interviewing the libertarian candidate,
True,
Joe Jorgensen, I never shied away from being, I am a Republican, right?
Yeah. So you're going to try to present unbiased information.
I'm going to try to, right?
Yeah.
And I would like to catch myself. And if I don't catch myself, I would like for you or our audience to say, like, hey, man, why don't you... Did you ever
bro,
think of it this
you're
way?
sounding kind of like a Nazi. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, no, because everybody
back.
says everybody sounds like a Nazi now. It's 2022, and if you disagree with someone, they're a Nazi, and that's part of my problem. So
We do have a question in the chat. Can the
But are
eagle
they a
fly
Nazi?
with one wing? Only
No.
in circles.
On the
They
ground.
can.
On
They
the
can.
ground.
It's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, they can only fly in circles on the ground.
So what this stemmed from is a conversation that I had, and a lot of it was, it turns out that whether you're Republican or whether you're Democrat, right? Because that's what we're going to talk. We're going to talk about politics this episode, and a lot of us fall into that category, Democrat or Republican. I understand that the two of you identify as libertarian, and that's somewhat in the middle of these two, right? But we're going to talk about this. We have two parties that run this government, Republican and Democrats, and
Hold on, sorry. We gotta read
please.
this. Austin Bish comments, straight white male Republican podcast host safari shirt. You have all the markings of a white supremacist.
What are you hunting, my guy?
I might change my shirt.
He just has a little bit too much hair. If I was wearing his outfit and
Oh my
someone
gosh.
viewed in, they'd be like, I'm
Canceled.
watching the wrong show.
It's crazy because I just took my suspenders off,
Ooh.
Oh,
so
fancy. So you were having a conversation, and we do. See, this is where I differ in my categorization of you, Tyler, real quick, is because you do say you're right, and I say that you're a moderate. You're in the middle because
I'm not.
you. But I would say that you would. You say you aren't, but I would say you would just because on a lot more of the hot button, head-to-head, political conversations that happen, you tend to err more on the side of I don't give a shit what you do. Like if it's your freedom to do that kind of mentality. And it wouldn't. And is another thing as to why I think a lot of people pigeonhole these topics into your left or your right is a majority of Republicans. A majority of them that don't have a voice, they don't give a shit whether you get an abortion or you're gay and you get married. They don't just leave them the fuck alone. And they pigeonhole the thought process of if you're a Republican, you're a Bible-toting, gun-toting, crazy person that hates blacks and gays and will murder anyone who has an abortion. And if you're a Democrat, all you want to do is smoke weed, eat vegan, and save the whales. And burn all the Republicans to the ground. And I feel like that's like the bigger voices that are the opposition in that. And that's a majority of people on either side really aren't that far on the right or the left. They're actually more, most of us kind of believe in the same thing is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So that is what I wanted this episode to be about. Is I am a right-wing Republican, right? Okay. I am all for a small central government, small federal government, very much into states' rights. And the things that CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, the actual federal government will lead you to believe that I believe in is not true. Right? It's all this talking, it's these talking points, right? And that's what I get upset about. I am someone. I believe in a small central federal government. Okay. And then if someone's like, "Oh, so you're Republican?" I was like, "Yes, I'm proudly Republican." Oh, so you hate gays? No, no, I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
I've been wrong this whole time.
I don't do that.
That's the first thing I do. Like people say, like, "Hey, you do a show with some guys. That guy, he hates gays, right?" I'm like, I guess he's a Republican.
Yeah, we've been talking to him about it.
You know what? If you're gay.
He hates gays, but he really loves gay sex. It's confusing.
It's very confusing. I'm like Adolf Hitler. I'm not like Adolf Hitler.
What, hates Jews but really loves Jew sex?
No, because everyone
who
thought
doesn't?
Adolf Hitler was gay.
Oh,
People thought Adolf Hitler was gay, and they were like, "Oh, so like you remember when Adolf Hitler's mother was Jewish?" And they're like, "No, he wasn't. No, she wasn't."
that's not how history works. Oh, his art professor that failed him, he was Jewish. No, that's not history.
Exactly.
Either.
No, it's
He
not
was
like
in
that.
fact a vegetarian, though. He was a vegetarian.
He was also a psychopath, and people should not model their lives after him.
I said that. That's what I said.
All right. So what brought this topic on? Let's get to the meat of it.
So, a lot of this comes from this filibuster idea, right?
Uh-huh.
So, if anyone's paid attention to the news lately, the filibuster has been in debate lately because the Democrats, again, I will try to remain as central as possible, and if I am leaning one way or the other, please correct me.
Let
The
that conservative
Democrats-
flag fly. Fuck it.
Hell yeah.
That's what we're here for. We're here to be the voice of the other
Where's
side.
my Trump 2024 flag?
It's tattooed on your chest.
Uh-oh. This was the real purpose for the safari shirt.
Exactly. I just tear it off like an NBA player.
This is Trump, like standing at the Mount of Iwo Jima, holding the American flag, chest
It's
hair
just-
flapping.
It's just DeSantis on my chest from Florida. So, in the news has been the filibuster.
What is a filibuster? Please,
So
quickly.
and that's so. Here's what's difficult. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am not. I've tried to read about it. It's very hard to understand.
well, because
I understand.
it's
I have
government
it.
law.
I have it
which
on my
means
phone.
Very convoluted.
Correct. The filibuster is in place in the United States Senate to keep the minority party with a little bit of power, so that if the other party is in power, in this case the Democrats, the Republicans can then say, "Hold on a minute, we're going to take advantage of this filibuster, and we're not going to allow certain bills to come to the floor." Okay? They keep things from being presented. It's basically like a last chance to be like, no, we're not going to do this.
Okay.
Okay? I don't know, if you want to say the filibuster is not okay and it is okay, that's one thing. But my problem is when, for this example, I'm going to use Senator Chuck Schumer.
Okay.
Oh,
Who's now
wonderful man.
He is now the majority leader of the Senate. He is a Democrat.
I thought it was Palpatine.
It's the same thing.
Same person.
I love democracy. Let's see. Hold on. I pulled this up. And I pulled it up from the New York Post, and I understand. It's right-wing, and you can all be like, oh, he's citing right-wing things, and that's fine. And at the same time...
We'll read from NPR later.
Yeah, you can go fuck yourself as well.
While you're looking at that, Austin had me laughing. The word filibuster sounds like a nice frozen treat from Dairy Queen on a hot August evening.
It
I'll
does.
take one large filibuster, please.
Oh God!
I could go.
Sounds like it's got peanut butter cups in it.
Oh my God. I would love a large filibuster in my mouth right now.
Oh, no, I'll give you a large filibuster.
Anybody watching the live show, if you ever see me look fucking this way and down and just start laughing, it's because somebody dropped some funny shit in the fucking chat. Be active in there. I like to see funny shit.
It's true, but that's why I wanted to put this out. I put this out on my stuff because I want people to engage on this. Is the filibuster was put out, and Schumer, when the Democrats were not in charge of the Senate, said that the filibuster is so important, right? It's so important, and the Republicans, or they, as he put it, he kept saying they. He never said the Republicans. He just
Was
said
this
they.
back during like 2016, 28?
2007. Hold on one second.
Oh, okay.
Bottom line, because it's been that long.
Well, yeah. You know,
2005. 2005. So in 2005, Senator Schumer, because he's been in office that long, we've talked about that, and we will talk about that in the future, because that is also something that I want to talk about. is the filibuster is important, and it's what the founding fathers had in place, and it's what keeps the Senate, right? That's what he said in 2005. Senator Chuck Schumer, who is now in 2022 the head of the Senate, right?
Yeah, he's the Democratic Speaker of the House, right?
Well, no, because the Speaker of the House is...
Well, no, he's a Democrat, but he's the Speaker of the House.
He's the majority leader in the Senate.
Yes.
Okay. He has now said that they wanted to take a vote to eliminate the filibuster. And I believe his words were something along the lines of, it keeps progress from moving forward or something like that. I'm sorry. I don't have the exact words in front of me.
No, you about paraphrased it right.
But so many years later, when now his party went from not being in power to in power, he's changed his mind. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm using this as an example. And I'm not just picking on Chuck Schumer. I am just picking on Chuck Schumer because I think he's terrible.
I was going to say.
So, question.
Please.
Basically, the filibuster was a tool, or is a tool, right? That a minority or a majority can use to derate a voting.
The minority uses it.
Yeah, to derate a voting. That way they can like swing votes in the meantime, right?
Correct.
So if they were supposed to vote on Tuesday, they can filibuster for 2 weeks trying to swing votes.
I've always seen it as something to impede progress for the other party. So that, I mean,
well, yeah, that's the point because you're trying to get them to come your way,
just to like really dumb it down, to Ricoize it.
But that's what it's turned into, Rico. That's exactly it. Like, I don't know all the details because, again, the name of this podcast. Ted Cruz had some problem with it. So I had a problem with the law when he first took office, right? When he first became a senator for Texas. He had a problem with something, and he filibustered something for like 14 hours. Right? And he stood up there, and he just occupied time.
He just read from the phone book, which
that's it.
Has been a filibuster.
He didn't give a shit. And that's what they do.
So question again, what have the Republicans been doing for their filibuster? Because this has to be basically continuous speech, right?
So no one's filibustering right now.
Oh, okay.
What they're doing is they're voting. What they're doing is the Democrats want to bring up the fact that they want to get rid of the filibuster because now they are in power.
Oh, okay. I thought the Republicans were actively filibustering like the Build Back Better plan, and so that's why they were having the problem with it.
No, the Democrats are not being able to pass what they want, right?
Because
Joe Biden is president.
Filibustering it.
They have the slimmest majority in the Senate, and with Joe Manchin and with the senator from Arizona, I forget her name.
Stacey Abrams just voted on the side of the Republicans.
Stacey Abrams is not anything. She is a citizen. She is not anything. Stacey Abrams was who ran for governor for Georgia, and she lost. And then she went, yes. And Stacey Abrams went, I don't accept that I lost. And for some reason, the Democrats think that's worth something. Hey, you lost. Great. Like, I don't understand. But that's okay. That's okay.
I may be just mixing up I'm mixing up names, but there were two Democrats that just voted on the side of Republicans in the latest thing they just voted for.
It was Joe Manchin and the senator from Arizona, who I do not remember her name. I'm sorry.
I'm Googling. Kristen Sinema, sorry.
Yes.
Kristen Sinema, which now not to pull away from what you're saying, but now because she did that and she voted on the side of Republicans, she's being they're basically trying to kick her out of office.
Yes, because that's
what the state Democrats, they're trying to vote her out of office now. Sanction.
This is my problem.
Or something.
This is my problem, and I'm not saying this is a Democratic problem. I'm not saying
we do it on the Republican side.
You didn't draw the line with the Democrats. We don't want you around anymore. She disagreed with the party, right? And now she has to. There's consequences for that.
Yeah, represented her constituents.
She represented the people that she actually works for.
Yeah,
you can't do that, right?
No.
That's
You're supposed to lie to
exactly.
them for 2 years, get voted in, and then never do what you told them that you were going to do.
That sounds
is
about right.
These people are
That is
actually
politics.
standing up. And Joe Manchin, I don't know Joe Manchin. I don't know what's her name from. I'm sorry.
Stacey Keebler.
Cinema.
Nope. That's a sports announcer.
Stacey Keebler?
No, Stacey Keebler is a wrestler. I'm sorry.
I know.
She's a former wrestler.
I know me some Stacey Keebler.
Oh my god. Because they didn't toe the line, there's repercussions. And if you actually want to go and find people, there's people, I don't have the exact thing. Go listen to Ben Shapiro, one of his podcasts, talk about other Democrats holding these people responsible, and there needs to be repercussions. Why? Why does there need to be repercussions because they didn't vote within party lines?
Because you're not holding the line. Come
She's-
on.
What was the
It's
vote
for the
on,
good
by
of the
way?
party, not the people.
Yeah, what was the vote
on the filibuster. On
Oh,
whether to
this
get
was
rid
the
of it.
filibuster vote?
On whether to get rid of it. Because the same people who 6 years ago said the filibuster is the most important thing in the American government are now in power, and they said we want to get rid of it.
Yeah, because weren't they
This
using
is
it
my
during the Trump administration to hold off one of his votes, I believe? They at the time, didn't they have the longest filibuster on record?
Oh,
No.
no, they didn't.
No, I'm
No?
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's still Ted Cruz.
It's a fun fact. The longest filibuster was by Strom Thurmond in 1957. At 24 hours and 18 minutes, Senator Strom Thurmond still holds the record for the longest uninterrupted filibuster, and for good reason. He came prepared. See, the filibusterer can't leave the floor for any reason, not even for
Yes.
bathroom break. So to
Yep.
thwart his bladder, Thurmond took advanced steam baths to sweat out all the excess fluids, and then made an intern stand with a bucket during the filibuster just in case.
So he could piss at the podium. This fucking man, I have only heard his name, so I've heard this fact before, and that's the only time I've ever heard this gentleman's name. And this man is a fucking champion. And I don't care which party he represented, but this man should be a fucking hero. We need to make a statue of him pissing behind a podium.
Just his big dick out. Just
In 30
Strom
years, when
Thurmond.
it's
Not only was he
offensive to
like,
be
I'm going to
peeing,
do this for as long as I
that
can.
statue will come down.
If that's
It's actually
over
a
day.
water pump in the middle of Wisconsin, and they're just pumping.
You have to pump his dick. Because not only was he like, I'm going to have the intern stand there with a bucket. Like, that's normal level preparation. But this man was like, I know I'm going to be there for a while. So I'm going to train like a fighter and go to a sauna and be as dehydrated as possible.
I respect the shit out of that. Because
So,
it's a thing that exists in American politics. But when you say that it exists because it's
This
so
man had to be a
important,
Republican.
but
He had to be a Republican.
it's
I
fine.
don't know, but what he was fighting against was the Civil Rights Act of 1957. So
Oh, okay.
maybe that statue's definitely be coming down.
Yeah. Never mind. I'm no longer
wait.
impressed.
He was fighting against it.
Against it.
It just so the what was the offending bill that Strom felt so strongly about? The Civil Rights Act of 1957. It passed anyway, so I guess he was against it.
Never mind. I no longer respect him.
Never respect anybody without the full facts.
You know what? Actually, no. I respect the dedication. I just
You
don't
respect the dedication, right?
Yes, I respect the dedication. I just don't respect what made him so dedicated, which was
about
his
this.
massive racism.
Think about this asshole, right? He was so dedicated.
For his
He was
hatred.
He was like, I'm going to keep black people lower than me because I'm white, that I will shit myself in front of all of my peers so that I can keep black people below me.
You
And then
have
guess
to
what?
appreciate the dedication.
And he lost! Oh! That's the worst part!
And then he got bladder cancer.
And then he's like, yeah, exactly. And then they're like, you have cancer everywhere. And he's like, from what? And they're like, you fucking idiot.
It's all the racism.
Yeah. It turns out the racism is eating you out. Eating you out. Nope, that's not the
That's not a medical term.
I didn't want to say.
If that's what cancer's gonna sign me up.
So So the hypocrisy, right? That
So
you're
that's-
representing here, the hypocrisy that they were, of course, and that's generally how it is, right? They always have the hypocrisy on either side, Republicans or Democrats.
Yes.
They always in favor of something if it suits them, and as soon as it doesn't, the other side is
In a perfect world, Ramball. In a perfect world, racism is just eating your ass.
Oh my god.
Honestly, I think if more people ate ass, there'd be less racism.
Ba-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da.
I just imagine Tyler looks so frustrated right now because he's like, that sounds so right, but I don't know why.
I'm back.
Oh, there you go. He's got his ears in.
I'm back.
So yes, the hypocrisy, right? They're in favor of something while it suits them, and as soon as it suits the other person, then they're not for it, right? They've used the filibuster for years. It's a constant. It's a part of Congress and the Senate, and sometimes been used for forever.
Correct.
And now, since they keep getting fucking stonewalled with it, they're not about it.
And what your opinion was 7 years ago is no longer your opinion. Not because you've actually changed your opinion on what it means, but it's because of where your power is.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it.
Well, it's just like anything
what,
political, right? You have the guys that have been senators like President Joe Biden for 30 plus years and shit they said back in the 80s. And then now they're, running on the side of progressiveness. And you're like, hold on a fucking minute. Do you remember when you said that super racist thing like 15 years ago?
That was,
and they're like,
I
oh,
was a
no,
different person then. Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember when Kamala Harris in the presidential debates looked at Joe Biden and was like, "Hey, do you remember when you wouldn't let me go to the school I wanted to because I'm black?" And everyone was like, "Oh shit!" And then he went, "I'm gonna make you vice president," and she went, "Okay." Do you remember that?
Never
And
mind.
again,
I don't feel that way anymore at all.
That's my political stuff just coming out.
No,
I
and
apologize.
but
I don't think you need to
that's
have
not
a
political.
specific political view, like picking a side for that. It's just fucking chasing power and just completely forgiving fucked up shit and then moving on and
That's
taking
utter-
a position of power.
That's just
But
an
that was-
example of utter hypocrisy within government because you're chasing
and that's what I
power.
wanted to talk about.
You will
That's
put
what I
your
wanted
morals
talk
to the
about.
side when you're talking to another presidential candidate, and you're like, "This guy is sleazy. He's a slime ball. He's a pedophile." Like all of these things about someone, and then as soon as they are in power, you're all of a sudden like, I mean, in the 2016 election with President Trump, right? All of the shit that everyone was saying about President Trump and all the other candidates, and all of a sudden he won. And then where was Chris Christie? Kissing his fucking ass. All up on him. Ted Cruz was doing the same shit. And you're like, oh, okay. This is the politics. You guys have no fucking honor and or spine about you.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Is this lack of spine, really, or courage,
integrity?
It doesn't matter. You just want to speak to how can I get the most power, and it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. I get it. I'm using a lot of Democratic. Let's talk about Republicans then.
Sure.
When Mitch McConnell was in charge of the Senate, when the Republicans controlled the Senate, and oh God, what was the justice who died?
Which one?
At the end of Obama.
Oh,
Civil liberties? I don't know.
our personal freedoms.
No, come on. Oh fuck, what was his name?
Antonin Scalia.
Yeah. Oh my God. So when Scalia died, right? And
we're history majors.
yeah.
I'm not.
Well, one of us is. I've got it. It's sitting right there.
One of us actually has the degree. The other one's still working on it.
Well, recent. And President Obama went, "We will never replace this fucking mountain on the Supreme Court. but we're going to nominate someone, and we're going to try to fill that position. And Mitch McConnell went, no, you're not. The future president is going to do that.
That is a right of the future president.
And he held it up because he's like, we're not going to let some outgoing, no-nonsense president nominate some bullshit nominee.
That sounds so familiar, though.
It does, doesn't it?
Sounds like it released itself like 4 years later.
Because Mitch McConnell then, at the very end of the Senate, of the Republicans controlling the Senate, and then I think what's her name died.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm coming across so ignorant tonight. Ruth Bader Ginsburg died.
I had to look up the Scalia one, but at least I knew RGB.
and she died. And he was like, we are gonna get this rushed in. There is no reason to have we have to have this many justices on the bench, right?
And then they would bring it up and be like, sir, do you remember 4 years ago when you
just said the same thing? You just argued with your past self. Do you understand that? And
it's cyclical. It's Terminator rules.
It is because it is a political position at this point.
Being a politic means that you can change your opinion on the flip of a dime, depending on what the public feels or what you're trying to achieve.
Do you know how ignorant that makes you feel to everybody else? I get it. There are some people that just watch Fox News, right? Mm-hmm. Like they have the local ABC and they have Tucker Carlson. That's all they watch on their television, and that's all they care about, and they're fine with that. But for the rest of the actual free-thinking world, do you understand how awful and how ignorant that looks when you're just able to change your mind because of the position that you're in?
Yeah. Well, it's like I was saying earlier, like a majority of the country, I would say, thinks pretty much the same thing, except for the super hard-hitting, political topics. But for the most part, we do. They believe in the same things, and
we do.
A majority of the country sees this hypocrisy, and they're like, "What the fuck? Like, does no one else see this?" And sadly, the majority is not the ones with the voice; it's the minorities, the hard-spoken outliers. They're the ones with the biggest voice on Fox News, CNN, on both sides. They have the voice, and so the majority of us, right? And I say the majority because I truly think that like 80% of the country thinks the same. They make us feel voiceless and like we don't have power.
We aren't.
When really, if we just realize that, we could outvote all these fucking idiots.
We aren't voiceless. And that's what I wanted this podcast to be.
But they make us feel like we are.
I wanted this to be a call to people and just be like, listen, I am a right-leaning Republican. I agree with a lot of what the left says. Because guess what? It's not exclusive to you. It's not.
No. Like, progressiveness, human rights, and compassion is not exclusive to them.
You know what that is? That's exclusive to being a human being. And I'm that. I care about a small I care about a small federal government. And you know what I don't care about? Is if a gay person wants to get married. Good. Enjoy the terribleness of getting divorced. Misery. Yeah, exactly. Join us. It's awful.
I heard something the other day that was like, my grandpa was like, "Oh, I don't know if I could agree with gay marriage," and it was a comedian. And it's like, I just turned to my grandpa and was like, "Well, then you would hate gay marriage, then?
Yeah,
just don't get gay married."
Are you? Stop it. Then you're not going to gay marry another man.
Yeah,
shut up.
Yeah, I don't think I believe in gay marriage. I don't think that's right. Well, then don't get fucked in the ass, Dad. Like fuck.
I didn't say I was against that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's this one time in '86.
Yeah, but we don't talk about that. But that's exactly it. Everybody wants to make the biggest deal out of this. Hey.
Oh, are you gonna do a Biden whisper?
Thank you for coming to his TED Talk.
Did you get the kiss? Did the kiss come through?
It didn't.
Did the kiss? Oh, it didn't? Hold on.
Not for me.
Mwah!
But what about the alphabet boys?
That's another issue. Because now so that's the thing.
The government
Here's
has
the deal.
created too much power for itself, and now it's too large for us to be able to impact it now.
But that's what we should do. This
No, you're
government,
right.
this government works for us. Do you understand that?
No, they don't.
This government, yes, they do. This
That's the
government was
intention.
established- Yes, Rico, you're right. And at this point, I don't think that they know that.
Oh no, they know it.
that's-
They definitely
And
know it.
that's what I want to change. And I understand we're small. No one watches us, right? No one listens to us.
There's 600,000 people that would
Yes.
disagree with you right now.
And we've gotten 300,000 likes.
No one listens to us. No one watches us. I want
Yet.
And that's what I was so passionate about, like tonight's show, and that's what I wanted to be about politics. Is I am not different than the most liberal person. I'm not different than my ex-girlfriend Leslie.
Well, not
Okay, I'll
the
call her up
most
by name.
liberal.
I'll call her up by name because
We don't talk about Leslie.
She is.
We
it's
don't
terrible.
talk about Leslie. No.
We disagree on so much.
Mhm.
But guess what? We're able to communicate with each other. And the government, I hate saying that. I hate saying the word the government because
It
shouldn't
makes
be
them
a
seem
thing.
like a powerful entity. It shouldn't be.
exactly, and they shouldn't be. They work for
No.
us. They work for. I'm gonna break my desk, and they work.
Break
for
your
us.
desk. You're offending one of our chat contributors. The people, the dedicated people that enjoy this show. You are not
I think
nobody.
he's agreeing.
He says he's not a nobody.
Well, yeah, but that's what we're saying. You're not a nobody. You matter.
I want to. I actively want to change the idea of. I'm a staunch right wing Republican. Yes,
Yes.
I think I agree with 80% of what some left wing liberal Democrats think about.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of
Political ideologies.
Anything.
okay.
Anything. The
Yeah,
economy.
80%. I feel like that is a safe estimation. 80%.
The economy, right? If I was to talk to some liberal and go, "Hey, listen, man, solar power is the future. You're right. Fossil fuels, we need to get off of them. It's not going to happen overnight, so you can't do that. So why don't we say fossil fuels? Let's get off of them in the next 25 years." And if that person was to be like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good number," what did we just do? We met in the middle. We negotiated. And
Yeah,
that's
but
what I want.
that person
That's
doesn't
what
have a
I
voice.
want. But that's what I want that so bad. I want to talk to someone who disagrees with me and who goes, "What about this?" And I go, "I didn't think about it this way."
But you can't do that anymore.
You
We're
can't because
not-
everybody's a fucking fascist or a fucking Nazi.
That's
Wait,
the
aren't those
problem.
both the same fucking thing?
No one understands
Yeah.
what a fascist is anymore. You have liberals who are throwing bricks at cops and calling them fascists. And you're just like, "You don't know what a fascist is, because you know what a fascist does? Bash a cop in the fucking face with a brick!" No, I'm not done, Cody! Put your fucking hand down!
Put your fucking hand down.
I'm in the top left corner! I'm not trying to yell. I'm sorry.
You're not trying to yell?
I'm sorry. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, you said fucking wheel you in there, bro. I'm just here.
I
hell?
Hey, man,
want.
He's still holding on to the wheel. I like it.
We're so turned against each other, and we don't have to be. It's so easy not to be turned on each other. I have so many liberal friends who all we have to do is talk. We talk, and we discuss
though?
things.
It's not easy because it's easier to hate than it is to use reason and logic to find common ground. Because if
But
it was
then-
easy to do that,
But
then
dude,
it would be done. It's
Dude,
easier
the
to instill
politicians,
hate and
the
division.
people,
Because we want
the people who are voted into power are
Horrible pieces
they're
of shit. I'm with
empowering
you.
that. They're empowering that.
Yeah, because
They want you. They want you to think.
If we all agreed on the same shit, right? And we all knew that, and then we wanted to vote, that takes away their power, their coercion to be in power. So that's why you only ever see Republican senators and congressmen on Fox News and Democratic ones on fucking CNN, because
They're
those are
playing to
where
their
their
base.
viewers view, right? They're talking to their base. And if they altered it and Tucker Carlson was having an actual intellectual, constructive conversation with fucking Chuck Schumer, then that would blow shit up, because then you would have people from both bases watching the same fucking show, and they can't do that because then that would break the divisiveness.
But that's
The
But
system
But when
is-
they
we
do
want.
have
That's
someone
what
of the
we
other side
want.
on there, they then
That's
shit on
what
that
we
person.
want.
Yeah, that's
We
what we want.
want-
That's what everyone wants.
An actual conversation between the two sides, because that's not happening. That's not happening anymore.
You
And
have the politicians
hasn't
dividing
happened.
you. You
It
have
hasn't
your
happened,
media
but-
sources dividing you. You have social media dividing you.
social media is awful. The media devices are awful. It hasn't happened since Clinton.
What, social media?
No. Actual, like the right and the left communicating since Clinton.
Okay.
I feel like since George W.
I feel like a little bit
That-
during
that-
Bush's time.
Yeah, maybe. And then. Well,
It's I feel, and maybe it's just being at this age and this point in my life and watching these things happen in front of me.
you mean
feels,
at 40?
Yes. It
Roger.
feels worse than it ever has been. There are things that have stayed constant. You know, there's always going to be party lines. There's people fighting for no fucking reason instead of coming together. They're wasting time. They're accruing wealth. They're building power. They're staying in office for fucking ever. They're doing book deals. They're insider trading.
Yes.
And that shit just keeps going on, and no one stops
It
it,
needs
and
to
they get
stop.
away with it.
It needs
Well,
to
because
stop.
the only
Because
people that
those
can
people
fire
are
them
doing
are
that.
them.
Those people are doing that, and then at the same time turning
I'm with
us
you on that,
against
Austin.
each other.
The
They're
people on
doing
CNN
that,
do
and
look
then
more
turning
unstable.
that. Politics is not religion, and people
We
right
should
now,
also stay out of politics.
people right now in 2022 identify as their political affiliation. I am a Republican. This is how I feel. I am anti-abortion. I am anti-this. I am that. And if you're a Democrat, I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I don't know what you would. I don't.
Rhodes, you're basically a Democrat. What do you
Oh,
think?
yeah.
I don't-
Ever since
I
you got your
don't-
COVID shot, the second one or
I-
third one.
Yeah, everything needs to be soy. Tofu replaces most meat. All genders will be swapped forcefully. Also, all guns will be turned into beanie babies.
You ever
Fair.
peg somebody with a BB? baby? That shit could hurt.
Yeah, well, especially when it's made out of gunmetal steel.
Those are gunny babies. I now have an idea. Never mind. Strike that from the episode. I'm gonna go make gunny babies a thing.
All of a sudden, 20 years from now, there's a school shooting with a little girl with a stuffed squirrel
Made of Glock.
made of Glock, an AK-47 giraffe.
Bitch had it coming.
A giraffe's tongue is black. So is the magazine I'm putting in this fucking AK giraffe.
AK giraffe.
Also, it's 2022, so they'd be like, "So's the shooter." Ka-chink. This country.
Ladies and gentlemen, he was not saying that the shooters are black and or white. I
mean,
have to
statistically,
clarify because that
a
could have
lot-
been taken 4 different ways.
Statistically, most shooters are in those situations are white.
They're mostly white.
Yeah. Well, we have like 2. What it was, the Washington fucking snipers, and that was it. There was 2 black dudes.
Well, yeah, they don't.
There's a
Yeah,
Fort
they're
Hood
generally
shooter.
not doing isolated incidents.
The Fort Hood shooter looked like you, Rico.
What? I have my beard today.
He shaved specifically for the show.
I didn't want to be recognized. This whole thing. This is really a sell. I just get really good perks and Percocets.
Now that we've associated Rico with a small-time
I
terrorist.
cannot wait for CID to knock on the door. I am literally just waiting for them to knock on the door while we're live.
You're gonna bust open my garage door. You're gonna see that black abyss just turn into the street and fucking fucking top
Some
light.
bumbly private falls into your fucking garage. Freeze!
Hey, stop!
You'll never
stop
get me alive.
Stop live streaming!
As you roll away in your rolly chair.
I just turned the fucking thing. Can you see me now? They're coming to get me.
Actually, I want to see Rico in a high-speed chase with just
being like
shitty privates behind him in full
just
gears.
his rolling chair, just being like, "Come get me, pig!"
Both my Achilles give out immediately.
Immediately. Well, that's the high-speed chase that I would love to see. Is you run off Terminator style, hit the first fence, go to jump it, your Achilles snap, and you just fall.
I just fucking dead man's crawl into a fucking ditch to try to hide.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rico made it 6 feet before his Achilles failed him.
I've never seen someone low crawl on their own. No one told them to do it, but
So
he did
fast.
A low crawl is just desperation.
A low crawl is just moving while trying to stay alive. It's just low-grade effort.
So the filibuster, it got us here, but it went to an overall thing of really politicians fucking suck. They work for themselves. They're not really fucking helping anybody. They change their fucking stance for the situation that suits them. And the media, everything's just trying to divide us because you
everybody buys into it.
Yes.
Everybody buys into it. It's just, this is what Fox News tell me to think. This is what MSNBC tells me to think.
People are looking for a place to fit in.
Guess what? It's everybody else.
Yeah, it's tribalism.
Every single person, exactly. They all want to put you into a basket. Guess what? We don't belong into a basket. We all belong.
No. I don't even fit in a basket.
I can't tell you how many people.
I put you in my basket.
If you were to tell me, be like, excuse me, white male, you cannot interact with that brown female lesbian.
Why not?
That you work with. Why? Because we get along really well. We're wonderful together, and we work well together. I have without saying her name.
Yes.
I have a good friend who is a brown lesbian female.
I believe we are familiar with this individual, and from first-person perspective, they work very well together and have no issues.
I love her.
The media, however, would tell you they should have issues.
Correct.
They shouldn't be able to function together. They shouldn't be able to stand in the same fucking room together because their ideals on paper are allegedly completely opposite.
No,
and this was not a work relationship that was purely just work conversations and never got into actual ideological conversations. I was involved in some of those where we would actually have political conversations with her, and she would interact with them, and we would have very good conversations. I've spent some times in trust with both of these individuals. It was good.
The real world that they're putting out in
Wait, are you telling me Fox News and CNN is not the real world?
Nope. They live in a bubble. And guess what? That bubble is DC, and it is New York.
That bubble that they created.
Guess who has the power to change that? We all do.
Do we?
We do. Because we're
How so?
so much stronger. Because
voting, violent means. Where are we going?
No, please don't do violent means.
Both
please don't. Excuse me.
Both are good.
I'm actually speaking exclusively.
All right. The floor is yours.
Do not do violent means. But you can do it by voting. Right? And this is why everyone talks about, the importance of voting. And then the other side goes, the other side wants to keep other people from voting. It's not true. You probably should provide ID when you vote. I'm just putting my opinion out there.
I mean, if I got to provide ID to buy fucking cigarettes, come on.
if I have to provide a passport that says I was vaccinated to go to CVS, I should probably provide a driver's license.
Does
to
that
vote.
does that
Isn't that the most fucking nuts shit you've ever said in the world? That you need to provide a vaccine passport to exit and enter buildings, but you do not have to provide ID to a fucking voting registration. Are you kidding me? That's the most anger-inducing shit I'm about to birth.
You're yelling.
I'm about to birth.
I like it.
I'm about to.
I like it.
I'm about to birth a baby.
So did we just unknowingly get into vaccine mandates? Is this what we're talking about when the vaccine mandates were brought up in the topics for tonight? Showing your fucking vaccine passport, whether it be a piece of paper, which is an inspectable item if you're in the military, or if you have an app on your phone that just says, hey, here is my medical information that I have to share with a complete perfect fucking stranger because HIPAA's no longer a thing.
Yes. So.
Yes to all of that. By the way, these
they-
are also coming from 3 people who get literally no choice over any of their medical
Yeah,
shit
I have no
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a choice. You would have just had to finish out the rest of your contract with no coming back.
Yeah, right?
You can actually like Google me and find my my records. You can just go Sergeant Tyler Firth. Vaccine recognition. Yeah, that's right.
Say it against that, Sergeant.
And you can find it.
I haven't had my own control over my medical freedoms for 10 years.
Isn't that weird? And we just accept it. And then when
Well, yeah,
other
that's
people...
because if you want to see, so people, ladies and gentlemen, just real quick diatribe. For anyone that thinks socialism works, right? On and you're right, on a small scale, it does. Your example is the military. But there is problems, right? It's working, but there's issues.
That means it's not working, so I don't know where you're going with this.
Well, it runs. It runs every day. It's been going on the same for years. So it's working. Like, it works. It's just not working well. So if you're curious about what socialism looks like, just look at the military. We are socialism, which is funny, having the fact that we fight socialism. Also, my views do not represent the military and or the United States Army in any way. Yes. But so Rico, you were saying earlier, so like when Tyler was saying, you know, we do have the power, we can change this, and you're like, you know, how do we do this?
Yes.
I think the way to do it is by talking about it, because
people don't listen anymore.
Well, that and that's the thing. They're listening to their side that's telling them that they don't have power because the other side's trying to take it. When in reality, it's both sides working in tandem to keep that power away from you.
People are let me get, before I lose my sorry, I know I'm cutting you off.
Yeah, you're on a train of thought. I don't want you to lose it.
So I was going to go into this earlier, and then like I just had a brain spike, and so
oh shit. Oh, sorry to interrupt you real quick. That Strom Thurmond I just read, he was in Senate until 2003.
Yeah.
Holy fuck!
So they're putting people into separate fucking baskets, separate classes, and people are unfortunately are looking to belong to certain things, which is why they're trying to categorize themselves, and then they're listening to media things that represent the views of that particular party or that line of thought, and it's just confirmation bias. It's like I've said this before. It's like you buy something on Amazon, and it takes 2 days to get to your house, and in those 2 days, you look up 10 reviews on fucking YouTube or just try to find something because you want to make sure that you got the right fucking thing.
Yeah,
and you want to make sure that your train of thought was correct, and you're looking for other people to validate it
because people don't like to be wrong.
No, nobody likes to be wrong. And I've said this before, pretty drunkenly last time, though. It's okay to be wrong.
It's okay to be wrong because when you're wrong, you learn hopefully you learn what is more right by being wrong. So failing is great. And that's something that, and people will blame this on, you know, my generation, right, of being children, right? The trophy generation, where what's wrong with it, that's why we can't handle being wrong and being corrected, and we always think we're right. Hey, motherfuckers, who the fuck raised us, you dumb fucks? We didn't just derive this theory. If that's true, like, that's why I hate when the older people on news, they'll be like, this newer generation feeling so self-righteous and so, into themselves, and like they can just win and like they deserve everything. And I'm like, okay, but at 5, we didn't decide this. You realize that an adult had to instill that into us, which means that your generation, you old cynic fuck, was the one that raised us to think that way. So is it that generation's fault for thinking that way, or is it that older parents' generation?
Are you allowed to watch this show?
Do you have parental consent?
Send us your fucking field trip permission slip.
But I think that this can be fixed, and it has to do with us talking enough and realizing. That's the thing, we've had these kind of conversations personally with other people, I'm sure, even separately, and with people since we've gone to different duty stations, different places. And I've had dozens of these conversations, and it always comes down to everyone pretty much knows that the government doesn't work for them anymore, right? They're self-interested, and they placate to their base.
You better share that one, motherfucker.
They placate to their base, and they're like, we need to get them out. But then when they go to the polls, they vote exactly the fucking same because, like you were saying, Rico, they don't want to lose because they want to belong to a side, and then they feel that if they were to vote out that party, because and then that's the thing, right? It's this self-revolving door of bullshit figureheads because you're like, okay, let's say, so for example, Strom Thurmond, real quick, Strom Thurmond, he was in fucking Senate for South Carolina until 2003. An obvious, very staunch fucking racist, right?
How is like somebody like Clarence Thomas still fucking in the Supreme Court after all the shit with Condoleezza Rice back in the fucking day? Like every time I see that he's still in the Supreme Court.
So you have that shit, and basically what happens is someone goes, a Republican, for instance, right, in South Carolina, getting ready to vote, let's say 1992, and he's like, I don't think Strom Thurmond should be in Senate anymore. I'm going to vote him out. Let's look at the other person. And then they look over at the Democratic side, and that person's just as equally fucking crazy and just as much of a fucking prick. And they're like, well, I can't obviously let that fucking person win. So I guess it's
born
fucking
in the 1920s.
It's probably it's just Strom Thurmond. And that's what happened in the 2016 election, right? When people were like, well, I don't like Trump, right? I don't want to vote for Trump, but I really don't like Hillary Clinton. So I'm going to vote for Trump instead of Hillary Clinton. And this happened in the the 2016 election. And then in 2020, the same thing happened. I don't want Biden to win. I'm going to vote for Trump. And then here's us in the middle going, why don't you vote for a third party? And they're like, well, that'll divide us. And I was like, not if we all fucking do it, you dumb fuck.
Let me present this here. I'm going to take over for a second.
Please.
Right? So the third topic of the show was Sony taking an L due to the Xbox putting in their intent to purchase Activision and Blizzard. Now, this looks like and sounds like immediately that the show has gone completely off topic from what we were talking about initially. However, the second this happened, Twitter exploded on January 18th. And it was like watching two toxic fucking groups like Republicans and fucking Democrats fighting over which party or system was better. And then the other ones just trying to point out how bad they were. And now they no longer have this confirmation bias because now they think their system, their party, their whatever. See the correlation? It's now weaker because the other group has something better. So it's taking something as entertainment, video games, and it has a direct correlation to just the way the masses attach themselves to specific items. It's the same shit like fucking like political parties.
Chevy versus Ford.
Yeah.
PC versus console. I mean, one thing that always surprised me about you is that I can mention a year of a vehicle of any brand or make, and you can be like, oh yeah, that year was fucked for that reason. And it was like a segment of year, but is like the F-150 from 2002. The electrical box was all fucked up. But, 2003, they fixed that and it's fine. But then you have people that are like, Ford, Chevy, forever. Which one's like, you realize like it had shitty years. Same things with Republicans and Democrats, like you were saying. Like,
look at any fucking Facebook group. There, well, no matter what it is, whether it's PC, whether it's trucks, whether it's fucking guns. This is a Glock group. Well, this is a fucking
gun chats. They're the worst. If you want to see the stupidest conversations, go into a gun like concealed carry group and go, hey, what's everyone's EDC? And just see it fucking explode. Because you'll be guys like, Glock 19, I'm more of a Ruger guy. I'm kind of a SIG guy. And then you have one dude in there just to fuck people, goes, I'm kind of a high point kind of dude. And then they just all jump on him for a minute.
They just shit on him because that gun's too fucking cheap. And
that's the equivalent of being like, hey, who do you want in the election? Oh, I like Biden. I like Trump. I'm kind of thinking Joe Jorgensen. Fuck that guy.
Who would pick Joe Jorgensen? That's the last choice. That's like the high point. That's like the fucking
the
Chevy
high point
Cruze.
of election.
That's the Chevy Cruze of Chevys. That's the fucking Ford Pinto. We're going. That'll never take car of the year. That'll never take gun of the year.
That is not our view. Joe Jorgensen, we love you.
Yes. This was extremes for making a point.
It was satire. Joe Jorgensen, we love you.
It's just it's dividing in every fucking way instead of just letting somebody carry whatever gun they want to have, letting somebody play whatever fucking video game they want to play, letting somebody suck whatever dick they want to fucking suck. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't have to. It's top down from politics to fucking video games. It's fucking crazy.
Everything is decisive, and I have one thing for the both of you. Is obviously right. The people in power want to keep it this way, right? The people in power want to keep it this way. But I was recently listening to a podcast, Joe Rogan, right? The number 2 podcast, second to us. He had retired General McMasters on there.
Okay, that sounds like a made-up name.
Yeah, I don't think that guy ever existed.
Probably not. He's probably like an FBI plant.
Large McMasters.
I would love to know. You know what? Show me your ERB.
I mean, he was like the defense secretary and stuff, but it's fine.
I said what I said.
But he was on there and he was talking about the decisiveness in the country, and that obviously the people in power want to keep it going, but that's not our biggest threat when it comes to the divisiveness in the country, because other countries have an invested interest in keeping us divided, because then we can't come together to make decisions to defend ourselves. And that brought up a very good point to me as I was listening to him talk. He's like, because he was talking about all the examples that they found Russian trolls. They have Russian
bridge
troll
trolls,
farms.
internet trolls.
Yes. Nope, bridge trolls and internet trolls. They're actually one and the same. They exclusively hire bridge trolls to work on the internet.
They were hired online to hide under the bridges.
Yeah, they explicitly look for hashtag the goat, and they just.
I was just gonna say they want your goats.
The billy goat's gruff when you fucking need them.
It's almost like we set this podcast up on purpose.
Oh, I don't know where this podcast is going when all of a sudden we're bonding on Billy Goat's gruff fucking references. But
I was talking about Austin,
the trolls.
It's just going to be Spike in 2024 and whoever he picks. I really
I don't think Joe's going to run. Probably Spike, but which I'm going to try to get him back on. I think it's about time to get his opinion. But there are active troll farms for the January 6th thing, instigators that made it worse online, and then also the 2020 election and the 2016 election. They go in these extreme groups, and there's a fact, and I looked it up, and it was true, that Joe Rogan was talking about. 70% of, or no, it was like 96% of far-right Christian.
100% of the time.
So like 90% of far-right Christian Facebook groups on Facebook were run and created by Russian troll farms.
Nice. The Russians, man.
Yep. So they create
what
them.
Are you gonna do?
They administrate them and then let people join them.
In the winter, and it's always winter in Russia, so they got to go inside. They sit in front of a nice toasty computer.
IT. It's a great job for trolls.
IT is internet troll?
Yep. Oh, God. Now it all makes sense. Oh, this is where we've gone. But my point is, as much as we should focus on the leaders of our government systems, right, that should be working for us, that want to stay in power and create the divisiveness, we also need to focus on the other countries that do the same. And as soon as we can realize that they're doing it and the leaders are doing it, and that we're not that different, and that we can come together to make this country better, but we have to work. It's us and them, not red and blue. It's not us and them. It's we the people versus those guys.
Putin's the worst fucking internet. He's the Princess Poppy of internet trolls.
He's so good at it. He's so good at it.
Yeah, when you're trained by the KGB for 20 fucking years.
Yes!
Rhodes, we can't.
Fucking stupid, and yet they have him, and we have Joe Biden.
I don't even know where I am.
I'm trying to be...
Russia has a trained murderer. And we have
Biden.
Joe Biden.
Joe
Biden murders his crayons and pipelines.
He was the senator for Delaware.
Russia, trained Russian spy. Special forces.
All right.
America, Joe Biden corn pop.
So
the Ukraine situation is just the next Area 51 raid.
Oh boy, we don't have enough time to talk about that.
Ukraine. So in the future, I'm trying to reach out. I'm trying to find someone that would be more of an actual like expert on international relations.
I've got somebody
to
in
come
the Ukraine
on.
army right now.
I was just gonna say, you remember Jay?
We do know a few people. I think I have a few Ukrainian CLS soldiers I could reach out to, but I do want to delve into that because for a while there I was like, nothing's going to happen with Ukraine. As of today, when I was watching the news, I'm like, some shit might actually pop off in Ukraine.
Yes.
If anything's going to happen with Ukraine, it's going to happen while Biden's in office.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be like, that's bad. Remember, I made you a deal. I'll pull one soldier for every fucking Russian bear you pull out of the area. And you said you pulled out 100, so I pulled out 100. But I'm getting reports that they're still there. You can't tell me they're on leave. I asked for their fucking leave form.
I re-enlisted that I would fight Russian soldiers. Now you're saying they have bears?
They have bears.
I'm out.
I'm out.
I ain't fighting a bear. I can't fight a bear.
And they're the number one buyer of all my gunny babies.
Trademark.
I'm done.
All right, Tyler, you had the control of the show most of the day. Close us out.
Done.
Close us out. Well, we're ending on gunny babies.
Gunny babies. It's a fucking SNL skit. That would... also, I think it would be super easy to buy advertisement space on Fox News for gunny babies. I'm just saying.
Of course it is. Have you ever watched Fox News? All you do is have to flip them a fucking quarter, and they'll just grab it up like a greedy asshole and just be like, ah.
Which, by the way, if you don't watch Fox News, please just turn to Fox News one of these days just for the advertisements because they definitely know who their viewer base is. Because all it is old people pain medication, vitamins, and like don't fuck with your gutters.
Oh, they also really like the walk into your shower and not climb into your tub. They love that.
Like they definitely know who their demographic is. It's fucking awesome.
Do you think this presidency will push more people right? I would say we're already there are people begrudgingly already doing so. The approval numbers in every age demo for our current sitting president are fucking atrocious, and people don't know what the fuck to do. So it's certainly possible.
A lot of moderates in our age group voted for Biden because they didn't agree with Trump, and because Biden was running as a moderate. But now since he's been in office, he's been placating to the far. Yeah, yes, I know how ridiculous that sounds. But since he's been in office, he's been placating to the far left. And so Rico's right. It has pushed a lot of the more moderate Democrats over into that libertarian, maybe like moderate Republican.
Begrudgingly, kicking and screaming, just like I said. Can you go on leave in the Ukraine? Alejandro Rambol fucking asks. No, all you can do is try to leave the Ukraine and the bears pull you back in. Remember the Trumpy bear? No, but that'll be the first main character in my new cartoon in the Gunny Babies. Gunny Babies. It's a rip-off of Muppet Babies.
We got it.
We have a theme song.
For those 22-year-olds that are watching the show that don't know what the fuck Muppet Babies are, go Google it.
Also, go to HBO and watch the new Fraggle Rock.
I also love Kermit the Frog.
So, Tyler.
Yes.
Do you agree that we can change this, right? We just have to have enough people speaking to each other across party lines and being like, hey, we all need to be honest about what the problem is. And we all need to have the courage to do so. Because if we vote out of fear of the other party and the other people, then this is just going to repeat over and over again.
It's not going to change.
We do have the power. We do have the power. And exactly that. We have to have the courage. It's not about Republicans voting against Democrats. It's not about the Democrats voting against Republicans. It is about people like not you, me, or Rico, or anything like that. It is about us getting on the same page.
For a person.
They work for us.
No,
they work for us. That's it.
That's not what the resume says.
No.
No, on Indeed, I saw it. I run for myself.
They work for us.
USA Jobs said that I work for me.
Oh, okay. Okay, you GS 10.
Yeah, and it said I get $200,000 a year plus insider trading, and
I get paid 6 figures because I don't do anything. Thank you, GS9.
Yeah. You get paid 6 figures for not doing anything actually in Congress or the Senate, but most of your time is spent on the phones running for more money.
I do not have enough time tonight to describe to you how frustrated I am with that sentence. Because I am...
Which, by the way, if you're listening, you're like, wait, is that what happened?
Yes. Yes. And if that's an eye-awakening thing, tune in next week when we all kill each other.
With Gunny Babies. I'm going to say one thing, and then Tyler, I want you to close this out.
Babies
okay?
going to the other frame.
Get ready to close this out.
Okay.
Cool.
On the question you asked, Tyler, about everybody coming together, I think it's going to take some like Independence Day type. I'm talking Will Smith fighting aliens to get everybody together. And it's only going to last like 6 months, like after 9/11 when everybody was super nice. I'm going to bring this back to video games. I'm in a fucking Xbox Series X, Series S group on Facebook. And people constantly shitting on each other for having a Series S versus a Series X. They both play the same fucking thing. The end goal is still the same. And people can't even agree on a fucking similar video game system. We need some Independence Day shit. Welcome to Earth,
you take those Xbox people, right? And you take those Xbox people and you put them in a PlayStation group chat. And they will collectively shit on PlayStation.
It's everyone shitting on each other. Tyler, what do you have for us? Close us.
I want to fix that on the macro level. Right?
Okay.
So right now you're talking about the micro level, which is, you play on the X, I play on the S. I want to talk about I really want every single person, and I know this is the most ridiculous thing in the world. And this is
to join hands.
Whatever.
Start a love train.
Yes.
I'll start a love train with you guys right now.
That's what I want. I honestly do. I want to stop arguing about the dumb shit, and I want to start focusing on these assholes who are trying to keep us apart. And it's not like I'm trying to keep it like, oh, I can't reach you, Rico. I can't reach you, Cody. No, I can. You know who I can't reach?
Let's give each other a 5.
Is the ignorant liberals.
He's all the way over here.
I don't know how cameras work.
First is like
Cameras or magnets. Oh God, I would watch that Miley Cyrus video. It's an orgy in the USA.
I've actually seen that Miley Cyrus video.
I'm done with being separated by established politicians. That's what I'm saying. I'm done.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. The separation is stupid.
As soon as I listen to a future politician, like trying to run for office, and they go, as soon as they say it's the other side, that you're done. I don't care about you anymore.
They're all saying the same thing in different ways.
And that's what we need to fix.
I don't respect you anymore.
The three of us
will fix this world. Vote for us because it's their fault.
That's exactly what they would say. Vote for us because it's their fault.
Yeah.
It's everybody's fault but fucking mine.
But, in this instance, it is everybody's fault but mine because guess what? I don't have any power.
Yeah. We're just
you have the power to vote, so it's your fault.
I voted for the other side.
Yep, you wasted a vote according.
Stop it. You voted for Chris Hansen to lose his job.
And it worked. I voted for Gunny Babies.
Yes. I'm gonna make that fucking. I'm gonna Cabbage Patch. No, not Cabbage Patch. That's
We're
a different
done.
doll.
We're done. We're done.
I said close this out. You keep going.
Hey, thank you for watching us. Thank you for listening to us. Put Cody back in charge. I don't give a shit. Fuck all of them.
Basically,
if you don't agree with what we just talked about, man, you're fucked up.
Basically, what we're trying to say, everyone, is that we're not all that different. We're not. And we all come together all the time, and we talk about what the problems are and what's wrong with the world. And repetitively, we go, how do we fix this? You want to know how we fix this? We stop blaming the other people. We accept our own impact into this. And we come together and we actually acknowledge who the problem is. And it's not the other side. It's not the other race. It's the people that are telling you that that's the problem. If someone is telling you that another person is the issue, it's probably that fucking guy that's the problem, right?
But what if they are the issue?
They are the issue. Well, yeah.
No. He's talking about the other side. What if they are the issue? And as I say that, right? I'm a guy telling you that it's
fucking responsibility. Ramball says it's me. I'm the problem.
Well,
thank you for having the courage.
Yeah,
we've known
if some black guy was like, "Hey, Adolf Hitler's not the guy to listen to," and you're just like, "Oh man, if I only listened to him." Yes.
Well, as I'm saying that, if some guy is telling you that they're the problem, he's probably the problem. I'm the guy telling you that they're the problem. It's the fun hypocrisy in it, right?
This is a fucking metaphor.
Inception.
Like, share, subscribe, everybody. Good
basically,
night.
the true key to this is understanding, compassion, and like a little bit of logic and common sense, and throw the hate and the fear out of it,
and a goddamn sense of humor. Stop taking everything so fucking seriously. Yes,
and before we go into that diatribe, right?
Continue.
Compassion, understanding, and like some empathy and integrity. Like if you just actually have some core values amongst yourself, we can all come together and actually change the world for the better rather than gripe and bitch about it on the internet and then not do anything when it actually comes time to do it. Because I am a person without power. I don't have it. So whenever I do get it, when I get to the point to vote, I vote my conscience. I don't vote my religion. I don't vote out of fear. I vote out of what I believe should be true. And then, granted, I want you to do the same thing, even if it disagrees with what I believe. But I want you to do it not out of fear for the other side. I want you to vote for you. And that is the important part. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we close out, love you, Grant. But as we close out, just stop being dicks. Stop being a dick. Have some compassion. Stop being a dick. Stop voting out of fear. Stop having fear. Shut the fuck up, Tyler. Just stop being a dick. That's it. That's the biggest thing. Stop being a dick. and
The
try
most
to enact some change.
non-dick-like thing you can do is like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about us.
We love you guys. We're on every Saturday. Love you.
Tell your friends.